What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Before we talk about the price action, I want to tell you guys what this video is all about, all right? We're going to go over the price action of Ethereum to US dollars. We're also going to go over the price action of Ethereum versus Bitcoin and kind of correlate that as to why Ethereum looks like it's going to rally and what that means for altcoins as well. Before we get into the charts, before we do that kind of stuff, I do want to talk about something that's going around the space right now that's kind of a hot topic, which is that there's like $12 billion of Ethereum validators that are unstaking right now, and I just want to weigh in on what that means potentially, or what that could mean. All right, give my input. So let's pull that up real quick. Ethereum exit exit queue. Ethereum's unstaking queue goes parabolic. What does it mean for price? So unstaking queue, whenever you unstake Ethereum, there's a queue, right? And like it's kind of like first come, first serve, whoever's in the queue first, right? And it piles in the more people that are trying to unstake at once. You typically have this queue hitting high traffic whenever we're at the end of the cycles, less traffic whenever we're really getting underway and pumping. But this person here, Ethereum unstaking queue goes parabolic. What does it mean for price? A significant portion of almost $12 billion of Ethereum is awaiting withdrawal, may be sold to lock in profits, considering Ether's 100% gains over the past year. So my thoughts are this, right? And I could be wrong. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, right? But I don't think somebody who has that much money staked is going to sell $12 billion worth of Ethereum. I don't think that's what's going to happen, or at least not all at once, and certainly I don't think by the end of the year. What I think is that, being that it is coming up to the end of the year, maybe there's some stuff that has something to do with taxes. There's some kind of official documentation or whatever that they need to have um, eligible by the end of this year, or perhaps even the beginning of 2026. And instead of having those funds locked up, because I'm assuming by the end of the year, and these people who have $12 billion in Ethereum almost, I'm assuming that they are probably aware, as I'm aware, as you are aware, that we're going to rally going into the end of the year. And instead of at the peak of this rally, whenever whenever the traffic might be higher for this unstaking process, where the time that it takes for them to get all this capital out takes more time, instead of waiting all that time for this to happen, they're probably just making a preemptive move. Okay, that doesn't mean that there won't be some selling. You have to imagine that if you're staking Ethereum for a long time, especially with that amount of money, if you're unstaking, you have to be planning to do something with it, right? That doesn't necessarily mean selling, but if you're looking at this and Ethereum's down today, right, we're down about 3%, and you're thinking, oh my God, we're going to zero, $12 billion. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think somebody has that kind of money involved in Ethereum and they're liquidating all of it. I don't think so. Maybe they're moving it around to different things. Maybe there's other endeavors that they're doing with it, or there's probably going to be some profit taking as well. But I would assume, man, I love where I live. I'm watching like three deer run by, little two little babies and their mom. Anyways, just looking at this, I'm not really too worried about it, right? Don't assume that this means that all of that's going to get liquidated right now. But man, that is a lot of cheddar. That's definitely a large dollar amount that just got unstaked, But there's going to be plenty of more people staking Ethereum as well. Anyways, getting on with our bad selves, talking about the US dollar price, and then we'll talk about the BTC price as well. We'll get into that. The US dollar price here on the daily time frame, we got about 3 hours, 52 minutes left in this, the 19th of September. We're sitting here at $4,450 right now. If we're looking at the Ethereum liquidation levels over the past 30 days, some shorts have piled on, sure, but the longs definitely remain dominant. Over the past day in itself, the longs, yeah, they're probably decimated. Shorts, we've got about $3 billion in shorts, which that's actually more. We have more shorts. Think about it this way, guys, on a one-day time frame. Okay, we click on Bitcoin. There's about $2.2 billion in shorts. We click on Ethereum. There's about $3 billion and $3.2 billion. We got a whole $1 billion more in shorts on Ethereum over the past 24 hours. And Ethereum is a dramatically lower market cap coin than Bitcoin, right? If we're looking at the total market cap here, let's just see. Can we get it? Yeah. 540 billion versus 2.3. I mean, that's literally like a fraction. Literally like would that be a quarter? But something between a quarter and a fifth. 20 to 25%, right? Anyways, of Bitcoin's market cap, and yet it has more shorts in the last 24 hours than Bitcoin does. That's pretty damn crazy. Past week as well, what do we got? We got $8 billion in shorts, yeah. I would assume that being here at the low point, being that a lot of people probably shorted at the low point, they didn't start shorting at the high point because most people don't think ahead of time. They react instead of planning accordingly, right? Reacting is okay as long as you've got an edge, but right now the edge is to the bullish effect, right? If you're shorting here at these low points or after the drop happened and you're not taking profits now, understand we're at a point where we're going to find support. We're really at this point where we're going to find support. We're at a higher low. We're at prior areas of resistance right here where we found some resistance, where we found support right here, where we found some resistance right here. If we go back, we look at the weekly time frame. Let's just see. Kind of in this area of resistance as well. I mean, it's not that cut and dry to be completely fair, but just relatively speaking, it's definitely somewhat significant being here, at least I would think. If we're looking at this on a 4-hour time frame, and we zoom out, let's just see here. We take our relative low to our relative high here. Oh, golden ratio, we found support here once, twice. This is the third time now. It's completely acceptable and possible that we go below the golden ratio. Okay, we could see Ethereum go down to about 43, 46, or at the most $4,300, 42.90 itself. I doubt that we go below this area. Okay, that would be the worst kind of case scenario. And with that, we'd have a perfect A, B, C correction, which those are very common, right? If you look at this kind of schematic over here, ABC corrections right here, right? That's exactly what this is. From the top down, that's the A wave, that's your B wave. We might be forming the C wave now. And they're typically very symmetrical patterns, which if we went down to the 886 there, it's a little bit longer than wave A, but it's pretty damn symmetrical, right? So it would make a lot of sense to do that. In fact, I think there's a way to measure this if we just do this real quick and just assume, right, we take this high to this low. Come on now. And we put that high there with that high right there. That takes us right, it literally takes us right into the heart of this area that we're talking about. So something between $4,350 and $4,300 itself, maybe just below $4,300 would be a perfect area to find support. At any point in time, we could move up. I want to look at the short-term stuff, and then we're going to zoom out and we're going to look at the Bitcoin stuff here, okay? The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Looking at this on a 1-hour time frame, we are oversold. Oversold on the stochastics, oversold on the MACD. Now, what I will say, what I've noticed right away is that this seems to be a more predominant bearish signal than anything else that we've seen. So I do think we're going to go lower. Okay, I absolutely do. I don't think that we bounce here, but anything can happen. You know, we found support here, in and out, more or less, a little bit back in and then out, in and out. Here, we're getting a little bit deeper. We even rejected the overbought or oversold zone and came lower. Stochastics living in the oversold zone where we didn't really do that too much before, right? We were kind of grinding the upside and then coming out. Where here, it's like we're steadily, healthily in this area and for a prolonged period of time. Here, the MACD is reaching to lower areas than we saw back here with this low, reaching to lower areas. If we could just get these buttons, Trading View. If anybody's watching this and you work for Trading View, get rid of them. They're the worst things ever. Who uses these buttons? What is it other than the reset chart view? These other buttons are just completely unnecessary. It's what we've got. This we can pull. We can literally zoom in all we want with that. Anyways, it's unnecessary. They get in the way. They're so obnoxious. Or just move them down lower. Put them where the dates are. We don't need to see the dates. Who cares? But like when I'm looking at the data, it's annoying, man. You guys can tell I got a real vendetta with this here. I'm hoping somebody sees it, but nobody will. It's just going to continue to be there. Anyways, just a thought, just a serious thought by a serious user. MACD looks bearish too. That's all I'm looking at there. 4-hour time frame here. Now, I will say the RSI is at a point to bounce, so are the stochastics and the MACD. And the MACD, who cares? It's kind of neutral. It doesn't really matter. And it's on the 4-hour time frame, so it's less significant. I still think that you're in a bearish enough posturing to go lower, but if you were to bounce here, 3 hours, 47 minutes left, this is the last 4-hour candle of the day. If we end today on a strong note, there's a case to be made that we could be finding some kind of triple bottom here. And I would say that if we get a 4-hour time frame to close above $4,600, that would do it. So if we're not going down, if we're not dropping down to, what was it, 43 to, what was it? It was 4,300 to 43.50, 43 to 43.50. If we don't drop somewhere down there, then I would say as long as if we close above 4,600, then at that point, that's off the table. We're now moving up. Okay, if we close above there, and I would even start to get excited if we close above like 45.50. If we close above 45.50 on a 4-hour time frame or higher time frame, I would start to get excited that we do move higher as well. Yeah. Daily time frame here. Rejecting the overbought zone on the RSI. Looking like you want to go a little bit lower. Yeah, you could. I think we take out that low, we get a lower low, people will freak out. Kind of like back here, whenever you started forming lower lows, people might have freaked out and probably sold the bottom, and that's actually the worst time to sell. We'll probably do the same thing here, and then overall, it's just a higher low. Anyways, overall, I think we look very bullish in the RSI. Stochastics can come down a little bit. The MACD can come down a little bit too, but overall, very bullish on the MACD as well. I think that we're in a very bullish area of consolidation here. Very solid, healthy area of consolidation, and we will break out to the upside. I very much doubt we're breaking out to the downside. I would fully expect that we break out to the upside. With that being said, a little bit lower before then. Now we look at the Ethereum BTC pair. We've got some big stuff going on. Okay, I've got the ribbon pulled up here. We're going to look at some other things too, but I want to talk about the ribbon first. Last cycle, it wasn't the beginning of Altseason. The beginning of Altseason might have started, here in 2020 when Ethereum really started to rally. But I think that 2021 January was really that kind of height of the altcoin markets. If we look at this here, let's type in others and just see. Actually, we can compare it. I think this might be better on this chart. Let's do this. Others. Do this and do new price scale. There we go. Put it in log. Right, yeah. We started to move up here. Altcoins started to move up. Ethereum bottomed out versus Bitcoin. It starts to move up. Altcoins are moving up, but the pace really dramatically picked up here whenever Ethereum decisively broke above this ribbon, and especially whenever the ribbon started to cross bullish, right? So whenever Ethereum versus Bitcoin was showing strength, that's when the altcoin markets really picked up. Altcoin markets started to pick up here. Ethereum went down, and the altcoin markets didn't go down with it. I think as disappointing as the altcoins have been this whole cycle, they've actually been rather robust in comparison to this chart, because normally this kind of drop off would be what we see in a bear market. So the fact that we just moved sideways and we're stagnant, that's actually a positive, not a negative. Things are about to change, right? We're interacting with the ribbon like we were back here. We're in that area where we're getting to that peak phase of the altcoin markets, of the altcoin cycle, and for Ethereum as well. When this chart gets above the ribbon here, when we get above about 4.7% of a Bitcoin on a monthly closing basis, that kind of signals that it's go time. I would say that very much signals that it's go time. And at any point in time, we can see that we have 11 days left in this month. Are we going to get that by the end of this month? I think we could. I think we really could reach up there. If not sometime next month, certainly by the end of the year, we should be there. And this is where I think a lot of people, I want to look you guys in the eyes right now. Okay. I gotta get big, because I think a lot of people are assuming that this cycle is going to end by the end of this year. And why wouldn't they? Right? Why wouldn't they? I bet you guys, if you're watching people talk about the end of the cycle, they're all saying, well, the cycle always ends at the end of the year, right? It always ends in November or December. That just is always what it does. Maybe January at the latest, right? But the thing is, you guys, a lot of these indicators that we see that kick off Altseason, that kick off this finale phase of the cycle, which lasts like 6 months, you guys. It lasts super long. Altseason isn't a thing that lasts 1 month. It lasts 20 weeks to 40 weeks. Right, like it's a long lasting thing, and the Bitcoin finale is typically like a half year. Like it's a very long lasting thing. We're just getting to the point where these signals are starting to flash that we're starting it, not that we're at the end of it, right? So get this idea out. If you hear people, mark my words, and maybe you'll agree with me now, and you'll be like, oh, thank goodness somebody said this, because I really thought the cycle was ending at the end of the year. Or maybe you'll just have to see afterwards. But I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to make the mistake of selling out early this cycle. They're going to sell in December or November, thinking that they're timing the top properly just because of the cyclicality of the years, and they're not going to be prepared for the fact that we're doing something different. And if that sounds cliche, and trust me, it is cliche. This is my third bull market. I get it. This cycle's different, yeah, but this cycle is different. We've done different things with Ethereum than we've ever done before as far as versus Bitcoin goes and altcoins go. We've done, as far as Bitcoin's growth goes, this whole cycle, things are different. As far as institutional involvement goes and just large money players, large net worth individuals coming into the space, it's different now than it ever has been. It really is. And with that, I do expect a prolonged cycle. I think that we are going to continue into 2026 and probably even into Q2 of 2026. So all I'm trying to say by that there is that if we're looking at this here in comparison to last cycle, even in comparison to the cycle before where the ribbon wasn't completely developed, we didn't have all these time frames because it was a little bit younger, right? You can see that here when we started to cross above the yellow line, we had 1, 2, 3 months left of growth. Okay, here we're starting to cross above the yellow line. We might have 1, 2, 3 months left. That puts us in December. In all fairness, last cycle when we crossed above, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 months left, and this is just the ETH versus BTC pair. Ethereum continued to grow. We continued to grow last cycle into December, where here it was May. So Ethereum USD still continued to grow all this time where it's moving sideways versus BTC. It was slowly growing more than BTC, but this is the ETH BTC chart more so than the ETH US dollar pair. So this is again just signaling that alt season and Ethereum season is just getting started. We're nowhere near the end. And then once we get near the end, maybe we'll consolidate like this, right? Altcoins, if you notice here, Ethereum topped off versus Bitcoin here, but altcoins topped off here later, right? Ethereum topped off versus Bitcoin here, but altcoins topped off here later, right? That was the end of the season. So we're not even at that point yet. We're just flipping, or we're not even flipping up yet, but I do believe that we're going to get this ribbon to kind of cross to the upside. If we're looking at this on a weekly time frame, I think we can delete the others part now. We're about to cross bullishly. This is something that I was very excited actually to see, is that the ribbon is about to cross bullishly. Maybe we pump back down. This could mean that Ethereum drops and Bitcoin doesn't drop as much, or Bitcoin rallies harder than Ethereum momentarily, but we could come back down to this ribbon, touch it, and then as the ribbon crosses, we continue to rally. We don't have to, but it's a pretty common thing to do. All in all, I think it's safe to say that going into October, we've got the rest of this week and then next week and then the following week, October. We have like 3 weeks away until we're in a week that has October going into it. We should be crossed going into October to the bullish effect, and I think that's going to be a very positive result. We look at the last time that we crossed bullishly, like actually bullishly. This is a fake. That's a farce. I don't like that. This is a real cross. That was just the beginning. We look at what it meant. Again, you can come back into the ribbon. Sometimes you do this. This is a little bit more extreme than what I'd expect we do right now, but you can see here from 2018 to 2019, we hit our low. Once we crossed, that was the beginning of the bull market for Ethereum versus Bitcoin. That was the beginning of the ETH cycle in the last bull market there. So again, this is the ETH to BTC pair. I know it's easy to get confused talking about US dollar stuff, but this is the BTC pair. Very bullish beginnings here, and the ribbon on the daily time frame is bullish as well. So we've got the bullish daily ribbon. Looks like it could come down a little bit. We've got the bearish weekly ribbon, which is about to cross bullish. It's got bullish presumptions ahead of it, right? And it might come down a little bit as well, and that's fine, right, in the near term. And the monthly is also showing signals that we've seen the last two cycles that have promoted several months of growth in a row versus Bitcoin, which ignites the alt season, right? This part last time, and this I did a poor job of explaining this, but this part 2 cycles ago in 2017, this was that hype phase of the 2017 cycle as far as alt seasons went, right? 2017, and then going into January, February of 2018, that was kind of that hype phase of the overall altcoin ecosystem. That same thing happened here, probably in December 2020, going into really, May. I would say probably May for the average altcoin. Yeah, May, October, December 2020 into May of 2021, and some coins continue to grow into December. Absolutely, they did. November, December. We're getting into that phase now, and I hope you guys can see that altcoins are really getting heating up. They're heating up. Ethereum's heating up, and it's important to remember that even in the midst of these very insignificant down days. Yeah, we're down 2.7% right now, but you guys, Ethereum will make its way to $10,000. It'll make new all-time highs here very, very soon. From a high to a low of last cycle, we should be seeing a target all the way up of about $7,700 or more. I really do believe we'll be at $8,000 by the end of October. And by the end of the year, I would believe that we're at $10,000. Now, there's all kinds of people out there right now calling for $10,000 to be the end of the cycle, for $8,000 to be the end of the cycle, something in this area to be the end of the cycle. So when we're there by the end of the year, pairing that with the fact that we're at this cyclical seasonal time where it typically is the end of the cycle, I'm assuming a lot of people are going to get bearish up here at the wrong time. They're going to sell, we'll consolidate, whatever, and then we'll have one last rally. We'll go up to 15K, we'll go up to 23K, somewhere in that area there. That'll be the cycle finale finish for Ethereum. Now we are talking about US dollars, and yeah, that's just kind of my expectation. So I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said it all. Again, while it's not ideal, this clearly does imply that they're going to do something with their $12 billion. I wouldn't say that this is going to be detrimental. If you're reading into this and you're seeing Ethereum drop and you're putting 2 and 2 together and thinking, oh my God, it's going to drop. It's all the way up here. It's going to come all the way back down. Get that out of your head. Everything's fine. I highly doubt that somebody with that much money in Ethereum is going to liquidate all of it all at once. They're probably really what they're doing is they're aware that we're getting toward that end of cycle time frame, right? And by the time that $12 billion is cleared out of the queue, it's going to be the end of the year. So doing that thoughtfully, would you rather have your money eligible and ready to sell or maneuver as you see fit going into the end of the cycle? or would you rather have it stuck in the queue at the end of the cycle, maybe, and now you can't sell before the end of the year for tax reasons, now you can't sell at the very beginning of the year for tax reasons, whatever it might be, or other things, right? Other things that are outside of what I'm talking about as well. So anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Oh, and shout out to All American Crave, by the way, for this really awesome hat and really awesome clothes, you guys. This is not a paid sponsorship. If it was, I wouldn't be putting it all the way at the very end of the video, and I definitely would have remembered, but I don't have any paid sponsorships. There's no affiliate link or anything. Check them out. All American Crave. That's the company. It's an American clothing line. They make really good things. It's made by good people. And just it's fantastic, man. I've got a hoodie from them. I've got a hat. I've got some shorts. I've got a couple hats actually, and they're all really good quality stuff, man. This hat, it's like stretchy, which is nice because I've got a very big head, so it's like one size fits all. And just the material, man, the material is actually really good. So if anybody's looking, they've got a fall line out. I swear the way I'm talking about it is like I'm being paid. I'm not being paid. I don't have any paid sponsorships. Okay, YouTube is the only one that pays me, and I pay myself with my investments. But they have a fall line. If you're looking for some fall clothing, if you guys are looking for any Thanksgiving gifts, or you have somebody who's got a birthday around this time of year, like check them out, because honestly, it's pretty fairly priced for the quality, especially. It's really good stuff, and they've got some style. They definitely have some style. Boys, girls, whatever, guys, girls, I should say, right? I don't know if they have kids stuff. I think they do. They got some cool socks. Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I'm not meant to be a sponsor. Bye bye.